Ever since Doors released, players have always wondered what the rarest possible room was. Was there even a room that even existed in-game that had the lowest spawn chance of any other room? And just how rare was it actually? Well, to my shock, the answer to that question is a yes. Not only does Doors have a definitive rarest room, but this room is also super unique, as it comes with great challenge and great rewards for overcoming those obstacles. Dear viewers, the rarest room ever in Doors is the Snake Eater, and the story behind it is absolutely wild. Today, I'm going to be going over what exactly the Snake Eater room is, what it contains, and most importantly, just how rare it is. We have got a lot of exciting things to discuss today, so with all of that being said, let's begin. Alright, so the first thing I want to address is, what exactly is the Snake Eater room? Why is it even called that? Well, I want to paint it to you as if it were a normal player encountering this room for the first time. Imagine this. You are playing through the mines as normally. You have beaten the nest, and now you are traversing the sewers. You open a side room door to see what appears to be a relatively normal looking sewer side room, with some boxes and barrels scattered around. At first, this room seems uninteresting. However, upon another glance, you notice a ladder at the very back. Curious, you climb the ladder, but what should have taken just a couple seconds is seeming to take actual minutes. In fact, this ladder is so unbelievably long that you've died to dread whilst attempting to climb it. You didn't know it at the time, but what you just experienced is Doors' rarest room, the Snake Eater. It's called that because the room's main obstacle, that being a ridiculously long ladder, elongates the room to the point where it looks almost like a snake. So, with that out of the way, how exactly was the Snake Eater room even discovered? This is a side room that was first ever documented by Zeal, who you may know as the creator of Pressure. They're the one who published the main obstacle players have to overcome if they encounter the room. It was then documented again by a Doors YouTuber named EXTB, who primarily showcased the insane rewards players can receive after completing the room. The person who brought all of this to my attention is a user named Heartful Bloom, who documented the entrance of the room. This video wouldn't exist without the help of all three of these users, and I'll be using their footage throughout the video, so make sure you check them all out in the description below, as they're the reason we even know this room exists in the first place, so big shout out to all of them. So, back to the room itself. You've probably got a lot of questions about it, such as how long actually is the ladder for dread to spawn when you are climbing? Is there anything even at the top of the ladder? Exactly how rare is this room? Well, let's answer those one at a time. The answer to the first question was fortunately revealed to us by EXTB when they documented the Snake Eater on their channel. Going at completely normal speed without the use of vitamins or anything like that, it takes roughly 4 minutes to get up the ladder, which also likely means it takes another 4 minutes to get back down. This means to travel up and down the ladder, it would take roughly 8 minutes, which does in fact allow Dread to spawn if you are far enough in your playthrough. Now, if I do remember correctly, upon crucifying Dread once, they will only spawn again after an hour of waiting in a single room, so that could be a decently effective method of eliminating their threat if you encounter the Snake Eater room. However, realistically, if you are quick enough, you'll be able to reach the top of the ladder, collect the rewards up there, and climb back down without ever having to face Dread at all. Wait, rewards? What did I mean by rewards? Well, any players who willingly sit through climbing up the ladder for 4 minutes actually gets rewarded when they reach the top. YouTuber EXTB recorded footage of what's actually at the top of the ladder, and it appears to be a ledge flooded in loot containers. In total, the ledge contains 9 wooden chests containing loots, with 4 of them requiring a lockpick to be accessed. There also appears to be 16 mini lockers which could potentially contain items, as well as 3 toolboxes. Now obviously most of the loot you obtain from this room will be from the wooden chests, and EXTB showed that you can actually obtain like 7 different items from them, so it is quite good. The last thing I'd like to mention though regarding the rewards though, is that apparently this room also seems to have 2 guaranteed alarm clock spawns on the table and on the floor for each time you encounter the room, evident by how the clocks spawn with its face down, which only happens to clocks that are guaranteed to appear and not ones that just spawn randomly. Now that clock thing is actually very interesting, especially given how the room is notorious for spawning dread given how long the ladder is to actually reach that ledge with all the loot. It could be possible that a story is being told by the room. If you didn't know, alarm clock items, in addition to being used to distract figure, can also be used to track when dread will spawn. Maybe multiple are placed at the top of the ladder to further connect the room to dread, and how that entity specifically can commonly spawn here. What if these were left over from previous survivors who managed to make their way at the top of the ladder, and they left their clocks as a sign of the danger that was faced up the way? I'm not too sure. It's not really too often where a very rare side room gets just a bunch of lore, but it definitely is strange, especially considering how players can only hold 1 clock at a time, so there really is no practical reason for 2 to be present in this room. So now that we've gone over everything the Snake Eater room has to offer, let's answer that final question. How rare is it? How do we even know this is the rarest room in all of Doors? Well, although we will probably never know its true odds of appearing, I've based its rarity ranking on how well it's documented. As you may know, when the content update released, the mines received a bunch of rare side rooms that could spawn. Most of these rooms were discovered shortly after the update released. However, the Snake Eater was discovered by Zeal in July, 7 months after the update came out, in the likely scenario that the Snake Eater was added in the content update, of course. Another thing I'd also like to mention is that apart from the 3 people I've mentioned, EXTB, Zeal, and Heartful Bloom, I have never seen anyone else document this room at all. So for all we know, these 3 individuals may be the only ones who have ever encountered the room. Although that is pretty unlikely, they're just the only ones who've documented it. Which, I mean, hey, is a pretty big plus for me, who also wants to document everything about the room in this one video. So yeah, that was basically everything about Doors' rarest room of all time. I believe I did cover everything in this video, but I may have missed something. But I don't think so. To summarize though, the Snake Eater acts as an incredibly time-consuming and even dangerous side room with astonishing rewards for those who overcome the challenges. You can get upwards of 7 items from just climbing up a ladder for a couple minutes. That's a pretty good deal if you ask me. Again, I want to give a big thanks to Zeal, EXTB, and Heartful Bloom for documenting this room, as I wouldn't be able to make this video without them. So, with all of that being said, let me know down in the comments what you think of this room, as well as if you have ever come across it yourself. Also, let me know if I missed anything in its documentation here in this one video, as although I think I'm pretty sure I got everything down of what this room has to offer, I could have missed some minor details. So if you have experienced this room, let me know what I missed, if I did. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.